So I tell my son this. Every time I travel someplace, I figure out if they're hiring somewhere. So it is always about, can I live here? I know I can because I know I'm over New York. I went to college in Atlanta and I wasn't supposed to leave, but I left and then came back to New York, married, child, that sort of life. But I always felt like I had outgrown New York. So being other places gives me a perspective of what it is to be outside of New York.
Hey, welcome to Travel Tuesday Happy Hour, where we interview dope people doing dope things from around the world. And we're at season 4, Voyage 22. And today we have an amazing guest. But before we go there, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and enable that notification bell so that you guys know when the next episodes drop. So, my lady, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Blessed.
So tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Candice. I'm an administrative assistant for a nonprofit organization based in Manhattan. I also do some side work. Handy Candy is what they call me.
Handy Candy, huh? That sounds interesting.
That's me.
Okay. So tell us about your first experience traveling.
My first experience traveling, my dad took me everywhere. We always went on road trips as a kid, family reunions with him and his girlfriends. The first one I remember is probably going to South Carolina to a family reunion. But a lot of traveling to LA. I have an uncle that lives out there, and that is my fondest travel memory as a child. So that would be
what made that your fondest memory?
The vibe. Everybody knows if you go to Cali, not LA, but LA County, and you travel out there, you just know it's just so different from the East Coast. So it's laid back, chill vibes, and just not being in New York. Anything not New York, I feel like is a vibe. So that is my fondest memory and the reason why it's my
I feel like you coming for me, saying anything not.
I mean, I was born in Queens, raised in the Bronx, but I mean, it's bigger than New York. It really is. Contrary to popular belief, it's bigger than New York. So Cali gave me that feeling and that knowledge.
Okay. So what inspires you to travel?
Experience. Being well-rounded, seeing new people, new cultures, how people live and how they operate, just being somewhere other than where I'm from. That's definitely my inspo.
So what about that kind of makes you want, like, because the thing is like we get to see different things, different experiences. Like, what is it like that? Is it like a euphoria? Is it like a feeling like you're finding new homes?
So I tell my son this. Every time I travel someplace, I figure out if they're hiring somewhere. So it is always about, can I live here? I know I can because I know I'm over New York. I went to college in Atlanta and I wasn't supposed to leave, but I left and then came back to New York, married, child, that sort of life. But I always felt like I had outgrown New York. So being other places gives me a perspective of what it is to be outside of New York.
Okay. So do you happen to have like a top 5 of places you visited?
So my first international travel as an adult was Aruba this past December. That's on the top of the list because it was a first. Morocco being my second definitely is up there. But I love California. Like I said, I love being in LA. I love the vibe there. As big and as fast paced as it is, I love it there. It's fast paced, but it's also a chill vibe. So that's on the top of my list. That would be number 3. My son lives in Florida, so that has to be on the list. He's in Southwest Florida. And 5, but this was no particular order actually. Atlanta. I love Georgia. Georgia's a whole nother vibe. Everybody speaks. Everybody's kind. Everybody's warm and friendly. So yeah, that was 5 right there.
Okay.
Without even trying.
Okay. So now you mentioned Morocco.
Yes.
Morocco for you.
Yes.
Epic experience.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to Morocco, like from getting ready, getting there, and then your way back.
Morocco, the experience. Okay, so getting ready to go to Morocco, excuse me, it's a little warm. The studio is hot. So preparing for Morocco was definitely, took some discipline financially. I definitely put myself on a budget so that I can pay for the trip. And that was a big deal because there was no question that I had to go. My girl, Jackie, the catalyst, basically changed my life since I met her. And it was only right to be a part of such a experience that I had no idea would be such an experience. So preparing for it financially was a big deal. Budgeting, honestly, meal prepping, putting myself on a food budget, paying my bills and not going out, not hanging out, not, spending frivolously, and just, paying things down. That was the big thing, being able to afford it. It wasn't a cheap trip. There was no, it wasn't no $99 round trip Atlanta trip.
Now hear this, right? So I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Absolutely.
So she made sure that she set herself up financially to be able to make this trip. I think the biggest misconception a lot of people make is that you got to drop that load on whatever trip that you make. And one of the things that we were fortunate to do was work with Stella Travels and being able to kind of... Shout out to Stella. Be able to set up a payment plan for our guests. Because at the end of the day, the original plan may not have worked for everybody. But being able to work with a travel agent that would manage accommodations, manage excursions, transportation to and from the hotel, definitely help. So
absolutely
appreciate that. So continue. So now you've gotten your meal prep, you've gotten everything together.
Yep.
And now it's like you got to pack.
Okay, the pack. I'm usually someone, if I'm going on a trip, I'm packed the week before. The bag is zipped and it's at the door.
Oh, she better than me, y'all.
Not Morocco.
Till the minute.
Not Morocco. I was packing till the day of. Because I wanted to be ready. You go on to a whole nother country. I did the extension, which I guess we'll talk about. But the original trip is a 5-day. We have the option to do a 10-day. I did the 10-day. So you have to pack for everything. And that took some work and some packing and repacking and repacking. But
repacking.
And repacking. And then packing again. So I packed until the day of. It's the weather there is much like spring in New York, so it's up and down. It's cool, very cool evenings, but very warm and temperate days. So you got to pack for some cute short sleeve stuff, and then you got to pack that sweater and that jacket and them sneakers.
And not to forget, the bride had an entire
trip wait a minute,
in which people had to be dressed.
There were themes,
color coordinated, almost every day.
Yeah,
but she saved this. She saved this the last 2 days. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to freestyle. A lot of grace.
So
she gave us grace.
So we got setting up your budget, setting up, making sure that things are taken care of. We got packing. Now the transportation. Like I'm not sure about you, but my trip was a connecting trip to Paris and then Paris to Marrakesh. What was yours like?
Mine was JFK, was it Newark or was it JFK? It was JFK to Casablanca and then Casablanca to Marrakesh. So is that accurate? Yes, that sounds about right. Correct me if I'm wrong. We were on Soul Plane actually. I was on the plane with the bride tribe. It was about 9 or 10 of us, moms and aunties and bosses and friends. So we were on a Soul Plane, and it was a great experience. For it to be such a long trip, I took the what's that seat by the doors? The exit. I took the exit seat. I had a great time. Oh, I have room.
Okay.
And that helped out. But the time is the time. I drank as much as I could.
Listen, they keep coming around.
And they don't have hard alcohol, so they was looking at us crazy because it was Ramadan, and we definitely were drinking all the wine. But yeah, that was the travel experience. It was fun. I made the best of it. When you make the best of it, you were good people. It doesn't seem like, oh my God, we on a plane for however many hours. I don't have any complaints about that.
Okay. So now you get to Marrakesh. First of all, you mentioned you're just starting with your international travel.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, we kind of set the tone, like, look, Marrakesh is not like everything else. But what was it like when you got there? Because I think Marrakesh is probably the most beautiful city in Morocco.
Okay.
There's a couple other spots, one of the beautiful. But what did you think when you got to Marrakesh?
When I got there, I was relieved. We made it. All the prep, all the budgeting, all the packing, all the anticipating, all the talking about it. Once we landed and we met our tour guide, shout out. Oh my goodness. I think without him, the trip would have been a different experience. But once we landed and he met with us and he got us on our buses to the hotel, I mean, I was with it. We were with a group of people that I felt like I would have a great time with, and I did. It was amazing to be with so many people. I knew about half of the crew, but to be with people that you just didn't know, but that was just with it. That was just down and just really good and really all melded well together. So, I mean, I don't have any complaints. Okay. I don't have, not a one.
So you get to Marrakesh, you're like, oh, this is kind of
like this.
Now, my bride is a bougie. So we stayed at the one and only Janat Town.
Talk about my friend, like.
And the hotel itself, what did you think about the hotel?
You know what? It was beautiful. It was out of a magazine, and she's been in plenty magazines, but to be there and walking the grounds and experiencing it was like, I've been said it was indescribable, but it was really indescribable. It's almost like you are living a fantasy. I wasn't getting married, but I was part of a marriage, and a part of a marriage and wedding experience. And it was like, this is the stuff that you wake up and you say, oh, I had a dream that I was in paradise. That's what it felt like. Yeah, that's the word, paradise. It was just wonderful walking from the main building. I actually had the pleasure of staying in the owner's home. So she has, I believe, 5 different buildings, and one of the buildings is her actual home. And myself and my roommate, we stayed in one of the rooms in her home. So just indescribable, like euphoria, and like, you wake up and it's like, oh, I actually did this. I hope you wake up in Morocco. It's like, oh, I'm in Morocco. Okay. So euphoria, wonderful, indescribable, like all up and up.
So one of the things a lot of times that happens in group trips is your organizers like jam pack a trip with events.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't go to everything because I didn't feel like I needed to go to everything.
Yeah. I did everything.
Did you feel like and shout out to Stella again, do you feel like, the having the option to choose which one you went to and actually doing the excursions helped with the trip? Because
I did everything. Right? Yeah, it was my first time. So I was like, check me off. I'm with the shits. Give me all of it. When will I ever be in this place having this type of experience? I don't know any of my other friends that are going to Morocco and have a wedding, a 5-day wedding, plan, So I did everything because I wanted to experience everything. And we complained, but we were with it. I mean, we got them every day.
They were late every day.
Not me. No, that's a fib. That is a fib. Me?
I said they were late.
My name's
not Handy Candy.
Not
but
Candice.
They were late.
No, I was on time for breakfast. I was ready. I was standing at the bus waiting. I did everything. I was on time. I was on time. Okay. And I enjoyed everything. Every last experience. What ended up happening, I guess day 4, day 5, it's like, I want to do my own thing, and I was able to do that. I did it, broke off into a smaller group and got to explore on my own, and that was all I needed. But the trip was curated, so it was so much to do that your time was filled, and you got to experience as much of Marrakesh as you could. So
okay. So Voyage 22 had 2 pivotal moments in it. There was
the wedding,
the dinner.
First to say the wedding.
The wedding is second. We're gonna get on it.
The wedding was a piss.
So talk about and you guys are gonna see photos of this soon on the Atomic Travels page. But talk about that dinner table the night before the wedding.
Again, another thing out of a storybook. We've been seeing pictures of this table and this setup and these flowers and this outdoor thing, but when you walk up to it, because we left the rooftop party on basically like New Orleans style, but in Morocco, like, second line Sunday type setup where they were singing and dancing and playing music, and then we end up
came out of nowhere. It gave us a nice.
Oh, shout out. So my boo Pops definitely gave us a show. But the walk down to the table, it's you're in awe. That's a good word, in awe. Like you see it and you see it set up. And I actually peeked at them setting it up, and it still didn't take away from the actual finished product of us sitting out there. And it was cool that night. But I had a cape and I was ready.
Yeah, we had
dress. It was satin dress.
About 50 plus people on a super long table, and it was intimate. It was really
flowers and fire and candles and you have to see pictures. I don't have the words. There are no words. And I went to school. There's no words.
So now that you know, I came out, like a rapper the next day. Trying to spit from the top. So tell us about this ceremony. What can you say from your personal experience about the ceremony itself?
One, I was in charge of taking all the phones. I had a phone basket. We did not want to record this wonderful, intimate love ceremony. And you know what? I walked up. It was most of the people were sitting down by the time I walked up, and I just cried at that moment, just seeing everybody being committed to, you think in your mind, wow, everybody came from America, like 50 people came from America collectively to go to Africa to see these two people. That's how special they are and how worthy they are of having the level of support that we provided. So when I got there and I saw everybody, it was overwhelming, and I had a moment, and then I collected phones and I sat down, and just seeing this fly guy, Black Jesus, PB, Purge, Page, Mr. B, just being this, wonderful person that he is, and having a moment with his dad, and then the actual ceremony, Jackie walking down the aisle. I'm an emotional person. I was in college and they called me crybaby, but I was like, okay, I'm good. I know them. They're cute, whatever. But when she came down the aisle, there was this water that I was like, why are my eyes leaking? It was like I'm not even trying to be, how you be the cute girl crying. I'm like, I'm not even trying to be that. I'm trying to be a thug. I'm gang.
Gang.
And I feel like everybody we couldn't help it. We were overwhelmed with emotion. It was the most natural, beautiful, organic ceremony. And I've been married, and listen, this was the most real wedding I've ever been a part of. So Jackie comes down the aisle. Paige already saw her, but to see her again and to see them at, in the trellis with the officiant just standing there, it was just like magic. It was magic. It was better than Cinderella, better than all the Disney stories, where the girl gets the guy, because they got each other. And people were sobbing. It was audible sobs. That's how real. People were like, boo hoo, people, it was that much. People were losing their breath. That's how nice it was. And Mr. PB off the dome with the vows.
Yeah. Listen. So real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna give her some chance. Give me a second. She's about to start crying.
Give me a second.
And she cry. She gonna make me
stop it.
But there's a moment there that that she doesn't say, right? So
nothing.
We're trying to record the ceremony, and I find myself being a little too controlled. So here's the crazy thing, right? I'm controlling, but my wife is as controlling as I am. Now, the topper was, I was trying to control the production of my own wedding.
While he was being married, okay? He relinquished it to two very worthy and well-equipped people. Shout out to Jackie HD and Ramon. But he was still trying to hit it this way. Turn it this way. Get it this way. And it's it already is what it is. But it's gonna be beautiful. But he definitely was sideline producing. And I was like, if you don't get married.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the right shot. You know what I mean?
Listen,
but
listen.
I interrupted you. You was talking about some dope lyrics.
You was spitting bars off the dome. And it was so natural and so beautiful. And, you know, we all felt that. We all felt the pureness and the trueness of the words. And I mean, I wouldn't have worn makeup because, I mean, we were all in these ivories. We were ebonies and ivories. That was the theme from the bride. Required. Voluntold, this is what you gonna wear. Hi. So I didn't want to cry because I'm brown, so I wear brown makeup. But it was like, you couldn't even help it. It was that natural and that beautiful. And crying because you're a part of it, crying because it was real, crying because it gave you hope. In Black Love, it was like a restored, like, no, y'all go get that because it's here. You know, you just got to be true to yourself. And I think they were both very true to themselves, and that's how they were matched. And it was just a picture perfect ceremony, matched with the time. So yeah, that's all I got.
So you mentioned earlier that you had like an extension of your trip.
Yes.
Let's talk about that extension.
So if I should have wrote down all the places we went, but the extension included us ending up in Casablanca with overnight in the desert. We were in Fez. We drove up. I wrote the names down.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
But we were everywhere. We literally went east to west to northeast, back west, back up north, and ended up in Casablanca. We had a long overlay in Portugal. And it was life-changing just to be with the people that we ended up being on the extension were from the original trip. So they were, you know, with it too. I have no complaints. Everybody was just trying to be in the moment, a part of the experience, enjoying the time, being someplace we've never been. You said you've been there 3 times.
Yes.
But it was everybody's first. I was with the bride's aunt. Shout out to Wanda.
Listen, Wanda's the real MVP.
Real MVP.
I'm just saying, Wanda, you next.
Wanda, we love you. And just experiencing it with Saeed and the other people that led us on the tour. It was wonderful. I rode on a camel for the first and last time ever in life. Camel rides are not things you do on a regular, but it was just a wonderful experience. I went sandboarding. I stayed in a riad. We toured Old City, Fez, New City. We had a great tour guide there, and just being a part of the culture and learning what they do and what they don't do, and enjoying and learning. So I had a great time. That was a paraphrase because it was just in depth. You know, the 24 hours you can't put it into a YouTube 20-minute, you know what I mean? So, I mean, but perfect.
Listen, you have time to describe it, but
perfect time.
So with that being said, your first time on the continent, right?
Yes, the continent,
so
the continent.
Did that kind of shape? So I usually ask my guests, did that shape your traveling while Black experience, right? So everybody has an experience here in the United States, all right? There's different fears, there are different conceptions of like how we should move around, but traveling internationally, Aruba, now Marrakesh, like what has traveling while Black been for you?
Well, speaking specifically on Morocco, there's what's it called? A spectrum of experiences. So one, you go to places where I would compare the market to maybe like 42nd Street. So you get people that know you're a tourist and they're trying to get your money. And then you get people that just, you know, are chilling. And then you get people that don't want you there. Like I know when I'm in Harlem and I see a tour bus full of visitors, we'll call them. It's like, what you doing here? Why are you here? Right? And you do get that. But then you also get people like, hey, where you from? Oh, you know, and just that are able to have a normal interaction with you and not try to push things down your back. Then you got peddlers, just like anywhere else. So people just want, just know you're here. So figure you have money and want what you have. And then you get people that kind of like hecklers, you know, like I was with someone and I found out when they call you Shakira, they're talking about your breasts. Not that you look like Shakira the singer, but that you're curvy or have full breasts. So they call you Shakira, Obama, Serena, Aisha, because that's an Arabic name, but it's like a Black girl name. So you learn what is like playful. I don't think there's malice involved, but you kind of get, they heckle you. So there's that, and then there's the people that will have a whole conversation with you and you end up spending money because they're that personable. But overall, again, I would do it again. I would do it again. Did it shape my thinking of Africa or the motherland? No, because I know each country is very different. I will say this: one of our tour guide in Fez, we were passing some dark skinned Africans were passing us. I think maybe Senegalese or Nigerian, and we're in Morocco, a country in Africa. And she said, "Yeah, the Africans come to visit." And what I said was, "Ain't we in Africa?" And, one of the people I was with said, well, she meant sub-Saharan. I said, I know what she meant, but what she said was Africans come to visit as if we're not in Africa. So that stuck out. But it is what it is. She was fair-skinned. She was more Arab descent. So there is still that, there is still colorism and separatism, if that's a word, that goes on. And I guess that's a worldwide thing. But, overall, I took that in stride because we got that here. People don't think they Black. People don't think they African or don't have it in them. But, it is what it is.
Okay. So to wrap things up, what are some tips that you would give somebody that's just get ready to start traveling, whether it's to go coast to coast, let's go to south, whether it's going international, whether maybe 5 tips, 3 to 5 tips.
3 to 5. Okay. One, I would say stay open. Be willing to just be of where you're going. I was with people that wanted specific food and wanted this and that. It's like, I want the experience. So give me what you have as opposed to I want this, I want that. So stay open for sure. I think a tour guide, if you're going to be there for an extended time, I think a tour guide is dope. I had a great experience with our tour guide. So that would be something I would recommend if you're going to be there and want to actually learn about the culture and the people and the historic components of where you're traveling. That's 2. Number 3, go with people that you're going to enjoy. Don't go with your stick in the mud friend, or don't go with your bougie friend, or don't go with your friend that's not with it. Go with people that are explorative and willing to hang out and do different things that's not normal to their regular, day to day. That's 3. Yeah, that's it. Save. If you're someone like me, some people make a lot of money, some people make a little bit of money, and some people be in the middle. But I would save as much as possible so you can have fun. I spend more than I planned. I spend a lot more than I planned. So the more you save, the better you are. That's my last one. That's all I got.
And where can people find you if they can find you?
So I'm not on social media because y'all crazy, but I'm around. My name is Handy Candy, Candice Lori. If you know Paige, you know me. If you know Jackie, you know me. And that's all y'all need.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
My absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
This is another dope episode with another dope person. I say to y'all, stay safe. Peace.